Hello, good people. I'm glad you're here. Today, I'm going to show you my 15-minute warm-up for a parkour session. I'll be covering everything that I personally do before a session, including some variations, so that even if you've never done parkour before, you feel equipped to jump right in. Are you ready to begin? All right. We will always start the session with a simple squat. Slow, controlled, 10 reps. You are paying attention to your body's position, how low you are able to go, any pain that you might feel. If you're experiencing any pain, make sure you pay attention to that range of motion. If it's in, let's say, the bottom part of that squat down there, hang out just above the moment that you would feel pain. Take your time with these. Go only as low as you comfortably can, and even use something like a rail or a wall to support you down in that bottom position if you need to. Next, we're going to put our hands on the ground and walk them out all the way to a tall plank position, and then step up to the outside of our hands. Raise that middle hand up towards the sky, flex the wrist, and walk it back again. It sounds like a lot, but watch this next one. Just pay attention here. Walk, step, and reach. And then you just walk it on back. Warming up the wrists, getting some work on the upper body here. Our core has to stabilize us in that hand-supported position. In parkour, we use our hands basically in most of the movements that we do that aren't just jumping. We're going to be vaulting, we're going to be climbing, we're going to be hanging and supporting ourselves. So we need to make sure this upper body is ready. Okay, watch the back leg, watch the back leg. Boom, it's straight. Here we go. I'm going to show you a variation of that. If you don't feel comfortable keeping that back leg straight the whole time, drop the knee to the ground and let it support you there. Then lift it up straight before you walk it back. If this is too heavy on the hands, don't worry about it. Feel free to skip it entirely, or you can just stay in the kneeling position without the walkout. Now, I know some of y'all want some of that special sauce, so here we go. Instead of just doing the walkout, we're going to work in a little bit of upper back motion. So we walk it out, step, reach, and then thread that arm behind the supporting hand. Next, we're going to push that supporting knee out, get a little bit of external rotation, and then walk it back. Just adding two things. Okay, let's take a closer look. So we walk it out, we step it up, and then take the hand closest to your foot, lift it up, and thread it behind your supporting hand. And then here, if you want, you can add in a little push on that knee to stretch a little external rotation. Now, next, we move on to push-ups. And let's utilize our environment here. You can find a bench, you can find a rail, a table, a wall, anything to support you here. Just make sure that you have a good, straight, we'll say neutral spine, squeezing your bum and pulling those elbows back at a 45-degree angle. We like to say make an arrow shape with your body. We're going to do 10 push-ups, and then I'm going to modify them, push it back into a downward dog if you've done the yoga, and then use this as an opportunity to pedal our feet towards our hands. Push it back, walk it up. Working those ankles. We're getting a lot of work here in on our shoulders, stretching our ankles out, really pushing our heel towards the ground. These are actually, it could be a little bit easier than push-ups for most people if you have strong wrists. If you don't, just stick to the supported version and you can do the same exact thing. Walking in the ankles. Make sure you push the heels back for each step, and also fold the top of your toes onto the ground too. Single leg work next with single leg squats or lunges here. You could also substitute Bulgarian split squats or rear foot elevated squats. Here I like to do those knee over toe squats. I like to add a little leg lift here as well to wake up the hamstrings and get them ready for any single leg jumps or leaps I might take. Knee over toe lunge. I want to spend as much time as possible on just that right leg until the bottom of the lunge. The concentric, the standing up portion of this, where we're pretty explosive, I'm putting the weight on the front leg and standing up through the toes, just like you would in a single leg jump. Here we go again. Reach it back. Quick on the way up through the toes. Little lift there. Sweep the leg back without touching the ground. And squat again until the bottom. Now this is the variation that I like. I'm working on some things that I need and compiling a few different exercises together. In a moment, I'll show you an alternate version that does just fine. But let me give you just a little more context on each piece of this. We're doing 5 reps on each side. On the way down, I want to slow the eccentric, or this negative portion, on a single leg to warm up my control for landings. It also wakes up the balance, brings blood flow to the quadriceps for my knee, reaching that back leg out all the way into hip extension, and then bringing it forward into there to express the same motion that I would in a jump. Alternate version is just to step back into a reverse lunge, and as you stand up, push through that back leg and then let it float off the ground. You can also use something to support you in this as well. And as you come up onto a single leg, let go with your hand just to experience a little bit of that balance. Here we go. You try out different levels of this and combine what you can. Next, we're moving on to a little crab walking. Easy peasy. Stretching through the chest, reaching the hands back as far as you can. And you want to try to keep the hips high. It doesn't have to be perfect though. Now we're moving on into some jump fundamentals. As a parkourist, jumping is my mainstay. So here we do 5 maximum vertical jumps to warm up the nervous system for maximal muscle recruitment for these jumps as well. I start by touching the wall in a standing position as high as I can, and then I do a vertical jump and touch the wall as high as I can at the apex of that jump, just to measure, where we're at for the day. Instead, you can do what I like to call nada jumps. It's kind of a jump eccentric, the reverse of a jump. Reach high, stand on your toes, and then swing everything down low. Or you could do 5 smaller jumps, just tapping the wall. Don't worry about output. Don't worry about jump height. You just want to hop off the ground, land on the toes, and spring from the toes as well. But make sure you have something to reference above your head to get used to that arm swing. Notice how each exercise gets more and more dynamic following the last one. We want to structure our warm-up so that we start simple and fundamental and move into more complex movements. Here, rounding it out, we're going to work on our rolls, right and left side. I'll show you an easier progression here in a moment. I like to combine these with other movements to form a little basic combo. Today, it's going to be single leg jumps. I'm being about the landing, split-legged as if I were coming out of a Kong. It's one weak area of mine I need to work on. In total, we're doing 5 each side, making sure to keep the feet together, standing up as if I were going to stand up on a rail. Really use your imagination here in the warm-up. Put yourself in the position that you would be in a real scenario in parkour. Now, as far as a warm-up goes, we've pretty much done the job by now. The point of adding these parkour basics in is to ensure that each individual session, you are getting in reps of the basics, never forsaking what's essential. If you don't know how to roll, start with this. Start on your hands and knees. Place your hands at a diagonal just past your knees. Lower your elbow to the ground, then your shoulder. Then kick with your outside leg so you roll over your side. Here you go again from the other side. Elbow, shoulder, kick and let yourself log roll over. Always finish on your feet. Next step from there, once you get used to just the motion of it, try linking everything together a little more smoothly from the feet elbow to shoulder, and then boom, it just becomes a parkour roll. I finished my warm up with rail balance, simply walking forward and backward on a rail and adding in any movements or variations in between, like single leg squats, squats on the ball of the foot, pivots, jumps, eyes closed. Here, we just add in a little squat, touch the lower rail, and then walk it back. Rail balance and rolls both required every single session. These are the skills that could potentially save your life in or out of parkour. So I make sure that these skills are tuned and in key. So as we round out the end of our warm-up, I hope that you feel confident and ready for your parkour session. Let me know if you use this and what skill level you're at, what you think about it, or if you have any questions or changes. I'll catch you next time where I'll show you some parkour from this session. Until then, be good and stay strong, and peace be with you, friends.